Welcome back to the channel. Welcome back to solving your problem. Today we're gonna watch John Kid 98. And it's kind of strange because it seems like this is a second channel, not his first channel, because his first channel was way bigger. But I recognize him because of his facial features, and the title is Why I Don't Have Female Friends. Now, let's get into this.
Hey guys, it's me again. And yeah, it's been a while since I've made a video in my car. It's not that I didn't want to make a video in my car, it's just I've been kind of lazy in making videos in my car, so I've been making videos in my room instead. But yeah, I wanted to talk about not really an issue about anyone, but more of an issue of me. I want to talk about the reason why I don't have female friends.
So let's start this off first, right? First, the story started out as him not having any friends at his early 20s, being in his early 20s. Everybody remembers that video of about a year ago where he's in his car and it's like, I don't have any friends. I'm in my early 20s. What was it again? 21 or whatever. I'm having a hard time and what's going on. I'm confused. Everybody remembers that video. Now, he's making a comeback on his second channel, and now he's talking about not having any female friends. But what is the most important thing in life? Having friends, having female friends, having male friends, having pets, as having a dog as a friend, having relatives that you have good relationships with. Like, what does really matter? Like, it's always been said that it's better to have zero friends if the only friends you have or attract are bad friends. They have a bad influence over you. They use and abuse you. They take advantage of your kindness. Then it's better just to go solo through life. And why do you need female friends? Why do you need female friends? Why is that so essential? Why is that so important? Questions you should ask yourself. Because one thing my grandfather always told me is that men and women shouldn't be friends because initially and eventually there will be feelings. There will be someone that will catch feelings, and then it's gonna spoil that friendship, right? Because men and women are made to be in a relationship, not in a friendship. And if you're in a friendship, either way, someone will catch feelings. And that's why he didn't believe in it. And that's something he always share with me and his other family members, grandchildren and children and stuff.
So it's kind of weird, like for me in my case. Well, maybe not me, but I feel like every guy has at least like experienced this, or at least know what I'm talking about. So yeah, you know how like in elementary, like the boys would be with the boys and the girls would be with the girls. It was kind of like that, like before puberty, and then middle school comes, and then you see guys talking with girls, and vice versa, but it wasn't really like that with me, yeah, like I did like talk to like a few like classmates that were girls, but I didn't really like had one that was like an actual friend, or at least that I considered a friend. um so yeah, it was kind of like that, like growing up though, and especially like in high school. And as I got older, puberty and stuff, and I started liking girls, and I always kind of wonder, like, why do I always see like other guys talking with girls and I'm just by myself? And it will kind of just be like that all the way up until like college, and even to this day. I'm probably not gonna talk much though, I'm just gonna get like straight to the point. um yeah, like like it never really like hit me back then, but now as I got older over the years, like I always see like a lot of like guys like talking with girls, and even guys that were younger than me like already starting talking to girls more than I ever had my whole life. In fact, I've seen like 12-year-olds talk to more girls than I've ever had in my whole life, which is kind of sad. um but yeah, the reason why for that, like,
Wait, did he just say that he's envious of 12-year-olds? You're in as a you're in as a grown up as an adult male. You're envying children, boys that talk to girls. I don't know if you understand child or children's psychology, but children tend to be more social before they hit puberty, in the sense that they don't really make an issue out of talking to boys, talking to girls. It's really more, everything seems to be just open, fair play, and casual. There is nothing that withholds you, or there is no class or order, or high value, low value. These things come with puberty. Everybody knows what I'm talking about. These things start manifesting when you hit puberty, and especially with girls, is a little bit more extreme than with boys. But in general, it's fairly normal for boys and girls to be friends, play around, and have good companionship amongst each other while you're in primary school or when you're in kindergarten. These things are just as normal as time itself. So you being envious about it, it's kind of a weird thing, because why would you? Children are children. Children aren't grown-ups. The grown-up dynamic is different than the children dynamic. You can't compare those things, and you can't build off those things. Different age category, different vibe, different scenarios, different life experiences. But of course, the older you get, the more reality hits you and kicks in, and then life becomes a struggle. That's different. Don't look back at your childhood or older children growing up if they have it so called easy to talk to women. It's just ridiculous.
Like why I don't really have female friends was because one, I've been rejected a couple times by girls, and yeah, I wouldn't say like it's social anxiety. It's just I don't know. I just feel like it's a little difficult for me to have like friends that are girls, because whenever I talk to one, it goes great, but then all of a sudden I get the feelings real easily, and eventually I stop seeing them more as a friend and actually start seeing them more as like a love interest.
So that's the thing that I was talking about. My grandfather always warned me about this, always talked to me, always explained to me about it when I was growing up as a teenager. He said, like, men and women aren't initially made to just be casual friends. And there is truth to it. And especially as a person, may he rest in peace, was a doomer. Sorry, a boomer, not a doomer, a boomer, my bad. And he explained those things very clearly with reason, with rationale. But if you he even admits it, that it's true that whenever you might come close with a woman or with a girl, depending on the age category and the context, that you will start feeling something for her. Why? Because she makes you feel a certain way, and hormones kick in. Now that's nothing wrong with that, but then initially it's gonna spoil the relationship as how it started out, and it's not intended to turn into something romantic unless you both agree. But it doesn't happen that often. It doesn't happen that often. I wouldn't advise men to be befriending women. I think it's fine to have female and male colleagues and all that stuff, and I mean, that's also, it also reflects everyday reality, in the sense of society and culture. But at the same time, it's better to just have good intimate friendships with males in this situation, and you can still be casual and talk casually to women you come across on a daily basis. There's nothing wrong with that, but why do you need some type of intimate friendship? I think personally, the main focus should be an intimate relationship, a romantic relationship, partnership with a woman that you want to spend your life with, you want to share your life with. So having a female, imagine you have a female friend or have female friends, most likely these things are going to be an issue as well to the woman you want to be in a relationship with, because she's going to see them as competition. There is something to it that makes women also jealous, especially if they see them, if see you around them, and you're in a different, more heightened state than you are around her, and she will know this and she will confront you with it. So I don't see any benefits in it in the long run. The more you mature, the older you get, and once you're in a fixed relationship with a woman.
And yeah, and the second one is kind of like trust issues. Well, I'm probably not going to talk about it in this video. I might make a separate video about that. Yeah, the reason why I have trust issues is whenever a girl like that I'm talking to, that I'm like friends with, but then eventually ends up being like a love interest, like starts insisting on wanting to like hang out or something, we exchange like contact info, and then that just never happens, and then eventually I see them like trying to talk with some other guy, and in most cases they end up dating that guy, like over time that ended up like I ended up getting like trust issues over that. And Yeah. Do I get a little sad sometimes? Yeah, like seeing guys talking to girls or groups of girls or them trying to talk to them, you know, like I never really had that kind of like friendship that you see like in movies or like in most romance movies or animes and whatnot. I've never really experienced that. Um, yes, I am like aware that yes, I've not spoken with any girls. I'm quite aware of that. Maybe it could have changed if I at least tried to talk to one. But the thing is, it's just everyone's just caught up in the world, or every girl's caught up in their own world. And like when I really think about it, like not trying to be like controversial or anything like that, but do you think like every girl is like ever like lonely, like ever? No.
Well, there is a group, and the word ends starts with fem, and it ends with cell, and it actually is kind of similar to what men experience, but of course the contrast, the proportions are way less. So there are always gonna be more men struggling and feeling lonely and not being able to have any healthy relationships or quality friendships than women, because women have a knack about them and their social skills that they can always find someone to tag along with, or to be a part of some type of all female group. It's easier, there is always going to be someone they can attach to, and that's typical women. That's also a survival in born strategy. That's something they're born with, and that's a skill they have to survive. It makes complete sense if you think about it. So comparing again is like comparing apples to pears or oranges to kiwis.
Like at least like one girl in this world like has at least like one to three guys that they talk to at least in like right now. Even like the most introverted girls got at least like some way, shape, or form of communicating with a guy, you know. Um like I don't get why people say some girls can be lonely too, but in reality girls are not lonely as like men are, you know. Um but yeah, sorry about that. I wasn't trying to be controversial, but yeah, I try not to let that like get through my head. Not the girls being lonely part, just the like like seeing other guys have female friends or like why I don't, you know. Um like I try not to let that phase me, but I'm trying to learn from my mistakes and stuff, and um even though like I haven't really been talking to like any in a while, I gotta give myself time and stuff. I just feel like I'm just not ready yet for that next step in life. I just feel like I need some time to heal from certain things or from certain um wouldn't really say relationships but situationships. um but yeah, you know, I just feel like it's just not time yet, you know. So one of the reasons why I think I can't really get a female friend is because I feel like women are just like really toxic and stuff. Like now as it was like a few years ago when I was in high school and whatnot. um you know, like you're more likely to get ghosted by somebody that you've known for a long time than somebody that you just met, you know. Yeah. I've seen cases like that before, which is kind of messed up. But yeah, you know, I just feel like this generation of women are just like not it for me, you know. You know, like it's really difficult for a guy like me, like an introvert, who's also never like dated before and like desires a girlfriend.
Okay, I have heard this story so many times before. Think about Mr. Gaming Guitarist, think about Maury Films, like all these guys, this in being an introvert shouldn't be a barrier between you and getting a girlfriend. A girlfriend shouldn't equal to eternal happiness or a blissful existence as a male. You're the prize. That's the only thing I can say. The moment you realize you're the prize, life changes. It's not because there is a group of women that are pretty toxic because of whatever that means that you should just stretch it out and go with that doomer mentality. It's like setting yourself up for failure. I've been there too. Rewind a year ago, and I was exactly in the same position of life. Fast forward until now, and I've been going on dates every weekend. and these women aren't toxic. Some of them are a little a little bit off their rocker, but or a little bit more sophisticated in a more negative way if it comes to future relationships. But in general, they're not crazy, they're not toxic, they're not rude, disrespectful. I had good conversations, I had good connections, I had a good laugh. But the thing is, like, making that judgment when you're in your early 20s, when you barely left, when you barely left your high school, is completely pointless. There is life is kind of like in categories, and every age category, your teens, your 20s, your 30s, your 40s, like it all has something attached to it. And it's not only value but also experience and a learning process. And it also goes for relationship, because don't forget that those women, when they're in their early 20s, are not going to be, or most likely not all of them, but most likely not all of them are going to be as toxic, as complicated, as annoying, as irritating, as complex as they used to be. They're going to mature in some way or another as well, whether it's through trauma or whether it's through personal growth and insight. You have to give people the chance to learn as well from their mistakes and their past behaviors and mindsets. Same goes for you. I mean, it's not because you're convinced that being an introvert is gonna mean that you'll never be able to socialize with a woman, let alone establish a fulfilling relationship with a woman. That's just something that's in your mind. It's a mental state of being. I called it back in the days a mental state of permanent rejection. Let me repeat that again for people that want to know what it means. It's a mental state of permanent rejection. That's something that you convince yourself that you will always be rejected every time you approach. But that means you need to work on yourself first before you get any results. And expecting results just because you are you is the biggest nonsense that exists.
And desires to maybe one day like marry like a girl or a woman. Um, Same thing. Yeah. Just kind of messed up my words a little bit, but yeah, it's really difficult for someone like me to find someone like that, that's like loyal, that's kind, that treats me the way I want to be treated, that respects me, you know. And yeah, like as the years just like go by, as I gotten older, you know, I'm gonna be 27 soon, next year in 2025.
Oh my goodness, 27 and you look like you're 16. That's crazy. That's crazy. Okay, so you're past your mid 20s. My bad. I thought you were in your early 20s. You see, that's like how you can deceive people by altering your looks. If you dress your age, you look your age. If you don't, you knock some years down. But this is a bit extreme, but hey, at least you still get your hair and your hairline right. I wouldn't be complaining about women and dating and relationships. If you have your hairline, you're good to go. You have all your opportunities left.
And yeah, like now, like as I really think about it, like I'm probably never really gonna find anybody like that anytime soon, um unless like some miracle happens and I just happen to just meet like, wow, somebody that like fits my standards and stuff like that. You know um that is also looking for some guy like me, but yeah, but in this day and age I don't really think that's possible. But I mean, who knows? I mean, only time will tell. And that was that. Not really much of a rant or anything like that. I just wanted to explain to you guys the reasons why I can't get a female friend, or why I had a hard time obtaining a female friend. It's kind of been this way for a couple years now, and like as like the years go by and stuff, my chances of me like ever like having a female friend are pretty slim. And yeah, I mean, only time will tell and stuff like that. Um, but yeah, it kind of sucks though. I try not to let that like kind of phase me or whatnot, or whenever I see like other guys trying to talk to girls or like walking with girls and whatnot. Um, but yeah, if it happens, it happens. Um, Other than that, it's just kind of just whatever. And yeah, and yeah, that's about it. Later.
Isn't that like something that we call triggering sentiment? Yeah, it became some type of a YouTube strategy. If you just make sure people can relate to you or feel bad for you, or like feel, yeah, like they feel the need to help you, aid you, advise you, and then you're gonna get the clicks, the likes, the views, and whatever. It seems to be a pattern, a strategy that people starting to adopt more and more to be able to blow up on social media. And I'm not gonna say that he's as guilty as charged, but at the same time, I've noticing a pattern, and I think you know what I'm talking about when I'm sharing this. So the final word as opinion and advice I can give is that, look, if you're past your mid 20s as a guy, you haven't reached your 30s yet, you haven't reached your peak. It becomes to market value, because that starts when you're 30. If you're in your 20s, you got to work on yourself, you got to improve, you got to do whatever you can to eventually be able to handle all of that once you enter your 30s. And I'm talking about experience. Some people are late bloomers, you're probably a late bloomer yourself, fair enough. But at the same time, don't let that mental state of being, that mindset, determine your future that is to come. That is ridiculous. Self-sabotaging and victimizing yourself is not going to help you in any type of way. And that's something I want people to remember, everybody that's listening, people from the community, subscribers, new people. If your mind already is the biggest stumbling block for your future to come, then there is no point in pursuing anything, because you will always prevent yourself from succeeding and being successful at life.